All right, welcome back to Real Estate Bites, my friends. It is episode number 48. Number 48, we do this once a week, so that means we have been doing this program for nearly a year. And some of you guys have been with me the whole time, and thank you so much. I love you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you keep coming back and joining me here every single week on Real Estate Bites, where I'm trying to bring to you guys a little bit of entertainment, mixed with mostly insights about real estate, our local markets, news about what's going on in real estate in general. I like to pull back the curtain on occasion, let you see some of the inner workings of what agents and brokers do. And today is a little bit of that. So we will intro the topic here with our meme of the week. When new agents realize they have to do actual work because real estate is not a get-rich-quick scheme. No doubt about it. I mean, listen, there's a lot of turnover in this industry. I don't think that's a secret. A lot of people come and go. I have seen so many new agents show up at the office and not last very, very long because they get in, and a lot of agents just sort of believe that things are going to fall in their lap or business just sort of appears out of nowhere, instead of understanding that you got to go out and consistently every single day work towards your own lead generation, your own branding, and driving business. It is a full-time gig. And if you're not doing it, then especially in a market like this, you're not doing well. So that's our meme of the week. And that brings us right into the topic of the day. How do you know your agent's a good one, right? There are currently 2.5 agents. This is a nationwide statistic. Currently 2.5 agents for every single property on the market. That's crazy. There's 2.5 times more agents than there are properties for sale, which means lots of agents aren't selling anything. And when you consider that there's lots of agents who are still having banner years, right? Still having career years, still doing great things. I've got 2 agents on my team who are high producers who are having career years. I've got an agent who's a rookie who's well over $1 million in production. I've got other agents who are producing. They're also very new at this, but they're producing. So they're selling homes. They're selling some of those homes, 1 home per 2.5 agents. So that means there's lots and lots of agents out there, and lots of agents who aren't doing anything. Most of the agents who aren't doing anything because, well, they're probably not that good at this. And how do you know? How do you know if your agent is active and knowledgeable and ethical? I've done an episode like this before, talking. They were similar, but I think this one's going to shed a little bit of different insight. And I want to take you to a simple page here. This is the Ohio Canon of Ethics, the Department of Commerce's Canon of Ethics for real estate agents. Okay, and I just want to read 2 articles out of this that kind of should give you a little different perspective on what to expect from your real estate agent, because it's more than just, everyone thinks, what do I need an agent for? Get me in the house, write the offer. But we do a lot more than that. I mean, there's standards for agents. I certainly have standards for the agents on my team. So, of course, for myself. You got to be more than just someone who opens doors and writes contracts, because if that's all you're doing, then you really cannot be the kind of resource you need to be for your clients. And it's impossible for you to be the resource that your clients need in a super competitive market like we're into today. So I want to read a couple passages here, like I said, from Ohio's Department of Commerce Canon of Ethics for real estate agents that kind of give a different perspective on the things you should expect to see from a well-established, well-connected real estate agent. So article number 1 is where we'll begin. Licensing as a real estate broker or salesman indicates to the public at large that the individual so designated has special expertise in real estate matters and is subject to high standards of conduct in the licensee's business and personal affairs. The licensee should endeavor to maintain and establish high standards of professional conduct and integrity in dealings with members of the public as well as fellow licensees, and further to seek to avoid even the appearance of impropriety in any activities as a licensee, right? So this is something I tell the people on my team, we're on all the time, 24/7. We are acting as a real estate agent because as a licensee of the state of Ohio in our profession, we're a public figure. And the more active you are as a real estate agent, the greater your public profile. I tell them all the time, your reputation, first and foremost as a human being, and secondly as a professional, that's your brand. As an agent, there's no separation between the two, right? We're not a giant corporation that has big ads on TV that that causes some brand recognition. No, our reputation is our brand. And so no matter what you are doing in the course of the day, you are still acting as a real estate agent. I've got agents who they coach sports for their kids or for a school, or I've got agents who do some volunteer work with, local organizations. While they're doing that, even though it might be completely separate and not unrelated to real estate sales, they are still acting as a professional real estate agent. What they do in those settings, because this is all about creating relationships. This job is about creating and maintaining relationships and providing service and value essentially to the public at large, but most definitely to your network, your database, and the consuming public. And a part of building those relationships is for sure your reputation. And when you're out doing these extracurriculars, that is affecting your reputation. I know lots of agents who are new, have very, very little to no experience selling real estate. However, the relationships that they've built, the reputation that they've built amongst the people who know them is so positive that they bring them business because they know this person might be new at real estate, but they know that person, they know their reputation tells them that person is going to work hard to do a good job for them. That's how important reputation is, right? So being a professional in every aspect of your life, having high standards of conduct in your business and personal affairs is absolutely critical. And so if you see a real estate agent, maybe you're interviewing one, ask them about what else they get into, what things they're involved in, things like this. That's going to help, you understand what quality of character you're dealing with. Here's the next one. This one is a little more complex, a little more opaque, but I think, again, provides real good insight as to what you should expect from a real estate agent. And these are the only two articles I'm reading are Articles 1 and Article 6 of the Canon of Ethics, Section 1, General Duties to the Public and Industry. Okay, so here's Article 6. It says, the licensee should be informed as to matters affecting real estate in the community, of course, that's expected, right? State and nation, so that the licensee may be able to contribute to public thinking on such matters, including taxation, legislation, land use, city planning, and other questions affecting property interests. This is the state of Ohio saying that their standard for a licensed real estate agent in the state is someone who's educated enough about local, statewide, and nationwide real estate, about economics, whether it's micro or macro, about the trends that affect both of those things, and being able to, make an educated guess as to what might be coming down the road, and be able to contribute to public thinking such as taxation, legislation, land use. Now, what sort of education is going to be required for a licensee, right, to be able to contribute positively to public thinking about taxation, legislation, land use, and city planning. There's of course there are courses in college about all these things, but there's nothing required of us real estate agents. But nevertheless, the state's expectation that our standard is that we continuously seek our own education, our own professional improvement, that we can contribute to public thinking about these things. So ask questions of your prospective real estate agent. Can they speak to those things? They should be able to speak to those things as you're going through the process of the interview. If they're not bringing up those sorts of things, or if you're looking in a community, every agent should be very, very familiar with the community, the ordinances that they live in, right? And it's impossible for every agent to know all that stuff about every community, and unlikely that an agent knows in depth about land use, ordinances, taxation, zoning, and stuff like that about multiple communities, 5, 6 to a dozen communities. Very unlikely. However, if they're versed enough in their own community, well, as you're shopping in communities that they don't live in or don't do business in very frequently, at least they know the channels with which to take or go through to get the appropriate information to help you buy and or sell in your respective community. Again, so this is the state of Ohio saying they expect of their licensees, not brokers, licensees, your typical garden variety real estate agent in the state of Ohio should be educated enough, should seek education, right? Because even though we have continuing education requirements, 30 hours of it every 3 years, we are required to take 3 hours of law. But to say that that's enough, it's not really true. So your agent needs to be seeking education in all of these aspects, right? In order to really be effective and resourceful and provide the best value to the consuming public. Okay, that's all I got in regards to that subject today. So we will move on to this week's statistics. All right, so here we are, episode 48, as I stated. This is the last week of the second quarter of the year. We'll get to why that matters here in a moment. This morning, again, for those who may be newer or have forgotten, I pulled these statistics. This is just Lorain County. Lorain County, while it of course fares a little bit differently than the adjacent counties or other counties within the state. I mean, this is generally a pretty good snapshot of basically the entire Midwest. So here's an example, right? I told you earlier that it's nearly 2.5 agents per every house on the market. There is, based on what you're looking at, anywhere between 675 and 740 agents in Lorain County. Column C here shows us that this morning there were 355 units for sale in Lorain County. So right there you have that 2-to-1 ratio of 2 agents to 1 property for sale. So it matches, it falls in line with what's going on nationwide, right? 355 single families and condos for sale. The active listings as of this morning in Lorain County. I pull all this stuff from the MLS. Every Friday at 8 a.m. is when I pull these stats. 92 sales closed this last week. The median square foot was 1,632 square feet. The median home value was $276,000, and the median square foot price was $164.97. We use median values to eliminate outliers. That's homes that are exceedingly large, exceedingly small, exceedingly expensive, et cetera, right? So the average time on the market last week was 31 days. When I got up and I checked on the interest rate this morning, it was at 7.05% for a 30-year conventional note. You can see here for the past, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, almost 2 months, it's been hanging right around 7%. Sometimes it bumps a bit. but it's been bouncing between 7 and 7.25 for the past 2 months. The average median square foot in quarter number 2 was $156.17. So I talked about this quarter ending today, the final full week in Q2 2024. So I started tracking median square foot values to get a real-time sense as to whether or not home values are staying flat, decreasing, increasing. And so here's what we see. Now, this is only the third quarter I've been tracking. Nevertheless, it is real-time tracking. So we ended up last year, Q4 ended with $148.32 a square foot. That was the average median square foot value, right? So what does that mean? That means all these square foot values, this is a median square foot value. Again, we use median to get rid of outliers. And then I average these to get this here. So Q1 ended, we took a dip, right? 143.85 was the average median square foot value after Q1. We're all the way up to 156.17. So even if that's still $8 a square foot above Q4 2023. So let's keep watching this, because it appears to me that home values are still creeping up and up and up. I'll say it again. I've said it a bunch of times. You know, a lot of people clamor for these interest rates to go down. I myself would like to see them go down. I've got a few rentals that I would love to refinance and get a lower rate and reduce. But boy, if these come down significantly, I'm guaranteeing you that this number is going to increase big time. Okay. So that said, let's take a look at the big boy last week. The big sale of last week was in Avon Lake, $1.3 million here on Dakota Run. Let's take a look at this big brick beauty. So this square footage here, what we've got, 5-bed, 5.5 bath, over 5,000 square feet, which, you know, you can include because you see this walkout basement here. The basement's finished. You have egress directly outside. So you include that in official living square footage on a 0.65 acre lot. As you would imagine, this house is gorgeous, right? High-end finishes, beautiful high-end railing and banister. There's your office. Love the double tray ceiling in the dining room, right? I mean, you know, big, wide open, 2-story essentially living room with just a ton of natural light coming in, beautiful woodwork all over the place. For 1.3 million, you have to expect this kind of stuff. This sitting room is fantastic, right? Cozy fireplace. Again, ton of natural light coming in, bookcase right there. That looks like one of the most relaxing settings you probably will find in the house. Opens up here to a big, beautiful kitchen, of course. Again, the color is starting to come back in these designs, and I love seeing it. Got TVs everywhere. Big master with, of course, your $1.3 million giant master bathroom. I'm going to scroll somewhat quickly here because this program is just about over, and I really wanted to get to the entertainment area downstairs in the basement, in the walkout basement. So we'll scroll through here, these pictures of the other rooms, until finally we land in the basement. So you can see they even finished the attic for a nice little den. There we go. Look at that beauty with a stone finish on the walls, a full bar, foosball. That's an absolutely gorgeous area to hang out in the basement, and that is right next to your walkout, right? Yeah. So you come directly downstairs into the bar, and then you can walk out here to the patio. And that's our big one, 1.3 million on Dakota and Avon Lake. Congratulations to all involved in that sale. That's what I got here for week 48. Look forward to seeing you guys next week. Thank you so much once again. If you find this stuff useful, please share it. Let people know about Real Estate Bites. This is consistent. We're coming every single week. Next week, I've got my guy Tony LaRizza to talk about insurance, and specifically, are you underinsured? This is a problem, and I've talked to a number of agents recently whose people have suffered because they were underinsured. Something bad happened, and their insurance didn't quite cover, and they had to come out of pocket to an excessive amount because they were underinsured. So Tony's going to come on and talk about that, and we'll see you next week. As always, take care of yourselves, take care of one another. I love you, people.